If you're going to dream, you may as well dream big, right? In this week's Hot Seat episode, Snez wants to own the stage instead of standing on someone else's. She needs help to brainstorm her concept for an in person transformation summit that could lead to more clients. Jonathan helps Snez identify the true purpose of hosting an in purpose event, the actual logistics and costs, and whether it's the right move for her to do. I'll be back at the end to recommend another episode. Enjoy.
Wicked. Okay.
Yep.
Snez, good to see you again here. Real quick for people who don't know you, if you can just share who you serve and what you want to talk about today.
I'm Snaj. I'm in California, but I'm Australian, and I serve like high level performers who are in some form of a leadership role, whether they're CEOs, CFOs, owners, business owners, whatever. And I just help take them to the next level, basically, in their fitness, nutrition, and mindset.
Sweet.
What I'd like to talk about today is basically expanding on an idea that I have, and I don't even know if it's going to work, but I have found that um, you know, getting amongst people and sharing like not just my program, but essentially like what the program does over the course of time and creating an event. And I wanted to create an event that's maybe a 1 to 2 day event. It's like a summit where they can experience every single thing in the course of, anywhere between 36 to 48 hours, where it's a transformative process. I want to create something where they come in, they're completely looked after, it's a full package, and they get to experience what it's like as a version of them that's maybe timid and shy and, still trying to figure things out, and leave a very different version of them where they have like an energy field about them so that they can go on in and just really, really take themselves to a whole new level. I would like to do this with some current clients, but I would obviously like to draw in new people that maybe they're not ready for like my full extent of my program, but they are ready for a 2 day event, hopefully down in somewhere like San Diego, where you can kind of connect also with being outdoors as well.
You're talking about on location retreats?
Yes, yeah, but I want to call it like a summit because retreat just reminds me of yoga, and I don't want to do that.
Sure. But that's what you're talking about. You're not talking about an
Correct.
online thing.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your goal with this? What makes you want to do this?
So I love public speaking and I love being around people because of my
Mhm.
energy. And I want people to feel that. I want people to experience that. And I want to try and help people impact more people, maybe that I don't get to. Obviously, online's great, but how can I get more people online into a space where there can be an even bigger impact that can be made?
Right. Okay. Is do you want or need or desire to make money from it?
Uh, I think it would probably be people that sign up into my program at the event, right? Like
Yeah.
that, the event itself, probably not. It'll probably break even, maybe tiny bit profitable, but it'll probably be those who actually come in that sign up and actually commit to my program after that.
Do you know anybody doing this successfully already?
Yes, but most of them are in something like breath work. So they
Yeah.
do breath work. So they're doing, I even went to one myself, and she basically just bounces around doing a day-long breath work series where partial of the day is focused on health, the next part of the day is focused on wealth. So she's definitely bringing in people who are more in that business mindset.
Hmm.
And at the end, there's always a pitch, and what she's pitching is, something bigger, and it's a much
Sure.
more bigger process.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely events are often used to sell, call it high ticket packages. Events like on location retreats or summits or whatever you want to call them, however you want to brand them, are much more difficult than things like a summit with multiple speakers.
Yes.
The most common model for something like that is you pay a whole bunch of money to get somebody who is really, really famous or well known. And then you basically go one tier lower and you say to a whole bunch of also very well known people, hey, this other person is speaking. Do you want to speak?
Mm.
And you use those people, and then you send out ads and blah blah blah, and you say these people are speaking. You fill the room, and you lose money on the front end, but you make money on the back end because your pitch is so good. Now that is an entire business model that I don't
Mm.
pretend to know the details of. I mean the economics of it, for one. I've run 5 conferences, so I know the economics of a conference, but the economics of that and the specifics of how you make that pitch, I simply don't know. What I do know is that um, doing this by yourself as somebody who's running it, I mean, number one, you're gonna need somebody else who is like a facilitator on site,
Yeah.
or else you're not gonna be able to be there with people. And it's absolutely gonna start with your existing paying clients.
Mm-hmm.
You can do some things to try to encourage them to bring in others. Like um I always like things like your ticket costs X dollars, but you get your ticket free, and so does your friend if you bring a friend.
Mm.
Now, that doesn't work if you're putting them up in a hotel overnight and whatever, because you're putting out a bunch of money.
Yep.
But it's going to be very, very difficult. Like, it's just as easy, if not easier, to get somebody to become a client than it is to get somebody to come to a summit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're going to have an easier time converting people.
Mm.
I think over time, as you do more of these things and share a lot of imagery and stories from them, it might turn into something where people are looking forward to them and that. But you got to run a bunch of them for that to happen. So I don't not like it, but it's not easy. It's not the type of thing where you're going to be able to just say, hey, we're doing this thing, go here to sign up. Like, you're going to have to build marketing start to finish. It's going to be basically a full-time job to fill this thing. Now, doing it, so here's the approach. Can I tell you the approach that I would take if
Yeah,
I
sure.
wanted to do this? And it kind of doesn't feed you in that same way that you want to be fed, which is why I'm tentative kind of sharing this. And
Sure.
so feel free to kick it back at me or fight me on it, because you're super smart. I would start it as an online digital event,
Mm-hmm.
and I would start it as an online digital event for charity with multiple speakers. And
Mm-hmm.
I would do that for a few reasons. One is, if you do it for charity, and I can talk to you about the specifics of how to communicate that, because if you just say it's for charity, that doesn't have much of an impact, but there's a way to tell a story around the charity that makes it have an impact. It's much easier to get friends and colleagues of yours to put up their hand and say, yes, I want to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's reasonably well documented. I mean, I could put you in touch with somebody who can organize all the tech and stuff behind the scenes. I mean, it's just not worth your time to figure it out. Cost you 7 to 10 grand probably to have somebody like facilitate the whole thing. And then the nice thing about that is you can actually record all of the content in advance, and it goes live at the event. So what that means is that you don't, it's very difficult to have other speakers and say you have to be available like May 20th at 2 p.m. You can say
Mm-hmm.
to them, hey, I need 1 hour of your time sometime in the next 60 days. You tell me when you can
Yeah.
do that and we'll make it happen. Um, and the charity aspect makes them, much more happy to do it. And also, it's just like, especially if this is something that you're not doing for money, you're doing it as a lead generator, and you're doing it because you know that it wants to grow into this other thing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I look at this, call it like an online summit as kind of step one, and you can absolutely engineer it as this bottom to top transformation in
Mhm.
2 days, where the people that you're bringing in, you can bring them in as specific experts on specific topics. I mean, you still talk about the couple things that you really are top tier on, and you bring in other folks and you can talk to them about, they talk about or interview them.
Mhm.
It's a great way for you to network. It's a great way for you to create content. You know, you have those interviews now. You can use those interviews on a podcast. You can cut them up as content online. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with them. They will help you promote the thing. Now, they probably won't do much, but you can get images and stuff for them to share. You could tag them, and then you can also send ads that are targeting fans of their pages.
Yeah.
And so it's a way for you to expand it and also create like excitement around a thing and raise money for a charity. And then at the end of that digital summit, you could pitch the
Mm.
in-person event. And then you can just rinse and repeat that. Or maybe the in-person event will be so big that, or be so easy to fill that you won't do the digital one again. Or maybe you'll decide that you love the digital one, and it's also just a great way to collect a ton of content in a short period of time and meet other great people and support other great people and support charity, which I, kind of knocks off all the boxes. And be lead gen, email lead gen as well.
Mhm.
Tell me how you feel about that, because I totally get that is not the part that fills you up, which is you really want to be in person and presenting.
Yeah. So I've done a digital like summit thing for people in the past. I've been one of the speakers, so I'm familiar with that. I am going to be a speaker at some really, really big events coming up this year. So my presence is going to get more known. And as my presence gets known, I want someone to be able to find me. I'm going to be on more stages. I'm going to be speaking a lot more. I want this to be more of an intimate setting for what I'm going to be speaking to on a much larger audience. So I feel good about it, and I think that I could maybe create the online one aspect because I've seen it be done, so I'm familiar with it. My thing is that I think the idea of the summit is really something that eventually is going to happen, a matter of when. I know that, and because I want to create my own stage. I'm sick of being on other people's stages. I
Yeah.
want to be on my own stage, so that's why.
And having your own stage and being able to invite other people onto your stage
Yeah, that's obviously the dream.
is a really fun position to be in.
Yeah.
Would you want to host the in-person stuff? Would you want to host it by yourself, or would you want to bring others as well?
I
Like, would
like
you
the
want to
idea of bringing
facilitate the
people.
2 days? Yeah, you do. Okay.
No, yeah, I want to bring other people because I think that they're going to cover areas that I don't. I'm more about that. I'm definitely very much about that.
Do you have any companies that the owners well, you've worked with in the past that might be good people to potentially sponsor something like this?
If I dig deep, yeah, for sure.
Because that's the model, is you try to get sponsors to pay for all your expenses, and then the registrations are
Mm.
your profit.
Okay.
And you've got a good audience, you've got a good social audience that you can offer them some other stuff as well. Like, you can offer them some other promo stuff as well, if they're a good fit, of
Yeah.
course, with your brand, and if you legitimately like their product. But where you want to host this? Do you want to host it in California? Just thinking through like what it might cost you.
Yeah, I've already like I found a spot. So there's a place in San Diego that I looked at, and you can stay there if you want. It's like a hotel. It's like almost like it's a very, very private property. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically like they have conference rooms, they have hotel rooms, they have like the beach right there. It's like kind of like a perfect environment for what I would try to do.
How many attendees do you ideally want?
I probably try and make it between 20 and 25.
Okay. And would you
And
provide
looking at
meals and things?
Yeah, so that the place that I would look at is a complete setup. Like they would have, if you want rooms, they'll provide the rooms, they'll provide the food because they have restaurants there. They provide the
Sure.
conference. Looking at like the cost and everything like that, I'd probably walk out with at least 30% profit for sure. And bringing my team with me, that would be me paying my team and then paying for the expenses of it as well.
What would you charge?
I'd probably charge about 1,500 a person for the weekend. That would include their stay and their food and everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what types of quotes you got. That seems to be way too cheap in terms of the what it would cost you to have the venue and the food and stuff. I would think you'd easily be at 35 to 50,000 in expenses.
Mm.
But I don't know if you've got quotes, then you've got quotes. I mean, these centers cost a fortune. Like you're gonna pay
Yeah.
$10 per person for coffee every day. I mean,
Mm.
it's insane what they charge you. Regardless, I mean, and then you're gonna want photographer and videographer and stuff like that. Like you're gonna want to capture it, so you're gonna pay 15 grand just for videography.
Yeah, I don't think I've factored in like the extra expenses. So that's why I've just kind of thought about like what would be the base that
Yeah,
someone would pay. And then I'll probably have maybe like two tiers to it, right? Like someone that, I don't know, hangs back and does some extra work with me or something.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I still think it's a cool idea. I love live events, and I love when you can mix them together. I guess all that I'll say is, I mean, if it's really what you want to do and it's really where you want to go for it. But understand that generally the rule of thumb with any live events is that it's going to take you 3 to 5 of them to really get going
Yeah.
and be pretty assured that you're going to be able to do it profitable and that you're going to be able to do it in a way that is repeatable. Like it takes time to build. You're going to be building a new community, and that takes time.
Yeah.
No matter how good of a job you do, that's going to take time. And it's totally fine if that's something that you really know that you want to do. It's just important to understand and set realistic expectations for it. But what I think is beautiful about live events is that there's potential to double up on a lot of things. For
Mm.
example, you have your clients there, you have a videographer there. You can make that event the end date for some sort of transformation type program type thing where people who are clients of yours get to go to a special video shoot or photo shoot, and you have a makeup artist and you do all of this amazing stuff. And so now you're having more people sign up and more people want to go to the event. Like more people sign up for your program in advance of it.
Mm.
And then the upsell on your program is to come to the event to be there for this party. And at the same time, you're getting all of this video that you're going to be able to use as marketing fodder moving forward. And you're also going to be able to do really great testimonial videos.
Mm.
So you can do stuff like that, even amongst the other colleagues of yours that you bring in to speak. You can a lot of the I mean, you can even leverage other people's events. Like for the Online Trainer Academy back in the day, I actually a couple of different times sent a videographer and a member of my team. I didn't even go to another person's event. I asked them permission. To another person's event where there were 4 or 5 people that were like experts, like Eric Cressy, for example. And Eric agreed to do it. And the videographer and my team member collected a testimonial from them for my program at the other event because the other event had done the hard work of collecting them all in one place.
Wow.
And then what we did as a thank you to the event organizer is we had our videographer basically create like a trailer teaser video for their conference. We didn't tell them that we did that, but we just did that as well.
That's so smart.
So you can do a lot of things like that where you double it up and you use those
Mhm.
videos for years. Yeah, even a welcome video for the Online Trainer Academy was a conference that I hosted, and we invited all Online Trainer Academy students to a special party at a studio
Nice.
that were attending the conference, and there were 40 or 50 of them. Conference was 250 or some. There's 40 or 50 people there, and they got confetti cannons and stuff like that, and basically just like trashed the place and had a party. And that's
Nice.
the welcome video for the Online Trainer Academy. Is like everybody shooting up confetti cannons and jumping up and down, and they're all like alumni of the program. So we can talk through this in more detail as you get like deeper into the planning. The
Mhm.
only reason that I'm bringing it up is I think it's awesome. I really think it's awesome. I love this kind of stuff, what you're talking about. I think it's important to realistically set expectations that it's probably going to be a lot harder than you might anticipate
Oh, for sure.
to fill the first one, and it's probably going to take 3 to 5 to get going. My guess is it will cost you a lot more than you think that it will. None of these are bad things. I think they're all very much
Yeah.
good. And then the only other piece of it is to really think through how you can get more out of the efforts that you're putting in. I think there are serious networking benefits. I think there's serious content benefits that you can and testimonial. And I think you can even upsell your programs that you're selling on day one, as long as you say, there's going to be the special video shoot or photo shoot, or one of the coolest things I know a bunch of people in the mentorship do, and I know a lot of people do in other programs too, is they do a professional photo shoot for their clients at the end of like a program.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I just think it's so cool. It's how many people have beautiful professional photos of themselves, and I mean, to get a makeup artist is like $500. It's like nothing. And it's
Hmm.
like men, women, like, I mean, anybody, right?
Yeah.
It's not, the makeup isn't like done up necessarily, but we had a lot of guys who did testimonial videos for us, and they're wearing makeup. And it's just like fix their complexion a little bit, like the thing I got it put on me. Um,
Yeah.
so I think it's cool. I don't know, how you feeling about this?
Yeah, I feel pretty like I feel like I have like some good ideas, and it's good to kind of get like every possible detail of what could work, what might not work. Like, it's just like when I started online, it's the
Mhm.
same thing. It's all just figuring it all out. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Figure it all
If
out
you if
knowing
you don't
that you're
have a
never. Go ahead.
if if you just don't have a figure it out muscle, you're not made for it.
100%. And to understand that you're going to figure out as much as you can, but you also got to know that there's going to be stuff that you're going to be like, well, how the hell did this
Hmm.
happen?
Yeah.
Like you're going to get there. I mean, I could tell you horror stories. You're going to get there and they're going to be like, oh, you wanted internet? Oh, okay. It's $500 for the Wi-Fi access. And you're going to be like, what? If I stayed here and just got a regular hotel room, you'd give me the Wi-Fi code. There's going to be stuff like that because that's just how these venues make money. Uh,
Definitely.
that you'll
That
know
was
if it
super
ain't.
helpful.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing more about this. It's going to be fun.
Amber here. Thanks for listening in. This episode was from a group call from Jonathan's online trainer mentorship, where we host hot seats every 2 weeks. The mentorship is where we take anyone doing from $1,000 to $20,000 a month or more and help them scale up. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in learning more about, please DM the word mentor to Jonathan on Instagram at It's Coach Goodman. If you're looking for another episode to listen to right now, I'd recommend episode 117, How to Ask for Things from People You Admire, a Playbook. It's scary to ask someone you admire to do something for you. You might hear no sometimes, but you can dramatically increase your odds that they'll say yes by asking the right way. In this episode, you'll learn why the person you want to work with probably isn't the person with the biggest following, how to make what you're asking appealing and easy, and know what to say, how to say it, and when to make the big ask. Again, that's episode 117, How to Ask for Things from People You Admire, a Playbook. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next week.